Welcome back to Liquid Lunch. It's me, Hugh, and now we've got Deborah Hall joining us here, and she's got this book that she wrote called $1 Million Moments, How to Accelerate Your Life in 5-Minute Bursts of Brain Change. And I have a feeling we're going to have a great conversation here, Deb.
Great.
Because they found a new planet called Eris, right?
The Eris Point, yes.
The Eris Point, and that's what is that you do? The Eris, or what is the Eris Point?
Well, the Eris Point is a program that I have to help people really get right with themselves. I mean, we all know, like, we're in a period of transition, the planet is, and we're moving right now, we're shifting. A lot of chaos is happening on the planet, and it's no longer okay for any of us to sit on the sidelines anymore. We have to become involved, and the only way to do that is to get right with yourself, to go inside and do that inner work. And so that's what I've done, is I've created a program that gets, that takes you to that next level, teaches you how to. We as adults forget how to breathe, so I take you right back to the basics, how to breathe again, and then I talk about the energy system that we all have in our bodies and how to make it work for you in a way that you keep that energy flowing. And I talk about our emotional guidance system, how to, how our emotions affect everything that we do, and that our mind and body are connected, and we have to find a way to make them work in tandem with each other, not against. And I talk about dreams, the importance of dreams, the importance of how important our imagination is to take us to that, to help us transition into that new world. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big believer of there are no coincidences. So that's what my program is about, and what it is involved. And right now, I do a lot of work in the prison system with the inmates. And
okay, so there's so much to talk about. I know it's a weird coincidence because I kind of mentioned that with our last guest about the.
You did.
Because it's 5D. 5D, right?
It is 5D.
We both learned how to be 5D, right?
Yes.
It's too bad Sandra's not here. She could get us going on the 5D situation. But the book is called $1 Million Moments. I mean, you could look at this and say, really, it's all about the money.
You could initially, yeah, you could, but it's not, because the moments are really priceless. They're $1 million moments. The book was established because I was at a crisis point in my life, and I have been in the corporate arena for the last. So tell us that story. What happened? Okay. So I'd been in corporate real estate for 15 years, and then moved into and never really felt like I belonged there, but I did it. Mm-hmm. And then I moved into the private sector and started up a real estate department in that company, and never really felt like I belonged there either, but I did it anyway. And so, basically my identity and everything was tied up in my job and my husband and my kids. And then I got laid off in 2008 or 2009, and at the same time lost my, split up, marriage broke down, and the kids decided to, go their own way too. And so here I was sitting. Wow. With no job and no husband and no kids. And so what do? I basically go into, fear mode. And so when you're in a place of fear, there's certainly boundaries that you can't get past. And so I just was kind of wandering for a while, what can I do with my life and where do I go? And I had, some 3 things that sort of happened that pointed me in this direction. And the first was I went to see an astrologist, and when I told her that I was in real estate, she looked down at my chart and she looked back up at me and said, "Oh no, you're not. That career is all over." Uh-huh. And so that was the first she said, I see you speaking, I see you writing, I see you doing workshops, I see you're going to be, successful at it. And that was the first time that I heard anything like that.
Right.
And so I didn't do anything about it. And so I'm still wandering around in my, state of, not knowing what to do and where I'm going to go and where I'm going to make my next dollar. And I need tires. Now I need tires.
I've been there.
I no more want to buy tires than fly to the moon.
I know, except when you get them finally and you're driving down the road.
And you go, okay, I feel safe now.
I like these tires.
I feel
okay,
safe.
I feel good about all that money I just spent on tires, right?
Yeah, but here's the story. Like I go into the tire store and I get the tires put on and I go up to the owner at the end and say, how much do I owe? And he looks down at me and he says, Merry Christmas, you owe me nothing.
What? Wow.
And so everything kind of,
What was that all about?
It was very surreal. And he sends me off and I leave there and I get into my car and it's like everything's happening in slow motion. And I start driving down the street and start tallying in my mind how much it would have cost me.
Yeah.
And I, of course, burst into tears. And because of that guy, I had an epiphany that, hey, maybe people are inherently good and maybe there's something I can do that's meaningful in this world. So I went home and I wrote an article about this guy.
Yeah.
And the Toronto Star picked it up.
Wow.
And so shortly after that, I was at a networking meeting, and I feel compelled to share the story at this networking meeting. And I get up and I tell the story. And when the meeting's over, this person comes up to me and says, she goes, I thought I recognized you from your article. And she said, you're gonna be really successful. You're gonna do, she basically said the same thing the astrologist said, only she says, wait a minute, where's the photographer? I want my picture taken with you so that when you're famous, I can say I knew you when. Well, this is all bizarre stuff that's happening in my life. And it was because of those three instances that kind of made me say, I'm going to create a program and put it out there. And I got a message. I think ultimately it was from my sister, who's since died, and said that you need to go back out there. Mental health and depression, and it's at a crisis level. It's it's at epidemic levels, and you need to go back out there and speak to people because you can help them. You've learned tools. And so what I did, how I started this book, was every week, and it was sort of a cathartic thing for me, I took quotes from all over, from, singers to writers to scientists to Buddha to from all over the place, and just some quotes that I've been collecting for years, and then I just expanded on it and what it meant to me, what the quote meant to me. And I did it over 5 years, and that's the book. So in this book, you could literally open it to any page and find a quote or get the message that you're supposed to get.
Interesting.
For the day. And so
is this an actual program then? Is this something if people...
The book?
Yeah.
The book's not a program.
Okay.
The book's just inspiration. The book's part of helping you get started to kind of restore your integrity or restore your faith,
In a sense, like the same kind of inspiration that these three incidents that you went through got you inspired to even embark on something like this, right?
Yeah, and that was the result. And so, and it's certainly something that I never thought that I would ever be able to do.
Yeah. I
mean, not in my wildest dreams. And here I am with the book. So.
All right. So you got the book, but you also had the program, and you mentioned you're taking that into the prison system as well. And where else? Is it the same program? Or?
Yeah, it's the same program. I literally started it out of my home, and would do it with small groups, and then have done it in a few companies, a couple companies, and then got into the prison system, and I'm doing it there. They took it on as a pilot project, and the guys liked it. I say, the inmates have, their bullshit meter is pretty high, and so obviously something that they're getting something that it's only tools that worked for me, techniques that have helped me on this journey that we call life, and
can you tell us about maybe a story about applying the system your system in with prisoners, or with anyone in particular that might have had a great success, or how do they benefit from the program?
It's life-changing. The program's life-changing.
So this is it could work for anybody.
Anybody.
Right?
Anybody.
So what is the essence of it? And
the essence is about getting right with yourself. We all have to do the work, right?
And what does that mean, getting right with yourself? Exactly.
It means finding out, what your truth is. What is your truth? And what's true, your truth is not necessarily my truth, but it's we all need to find our truth, and that's the only way forward. And it's just launched me into I feel like I've been downloaded with a bunch of information that's come into my awareness because I've embarked on this journey, and myself, and so I'm getting all kinds of information about the life that we're living here on this planet. And
so let's talk about that a little bit. What kind of information? What do we need to know?
Well, you know what? It's not nice. A lot of it's not nice.
Let's talk about it.
Oh God.
We'll get into this right now.
Okay. There's a lot of chaos happening on the planet right now, and we've been conned. Humanity's been conned.
By who?
By the elites that are running this world. And I know I sound like a woo-woo, but
it's okay. I'm into that stuff.
Okay. So, yeah. And so all this chaos that is happening out there. It's being created, and it's called a false flag. They're called false flags, and they're created so that they can keep humanity enslaved or in fear, right?
Yeah.
So
they want to put a microchip in each and every one of us.
Well, yeah. Ultimately, that's the goal, the New World Order, and
at least they'll be able to keep track of us then.
Yeah. Well, that ain't happening to me. I'm going underground.
I know.
Anyway, but yeah, that's so it's that kind of stuff that's come across my awareness, and the more, like, when I first started to learn it, it was I felt like somebody had punched me in my stomach, literally.
When you heard about all this,
all this trickery and lies, and basically the life we're living is a lie, because it just is on every level. Our money system's imploding, our economies. It's terrible. It's on every level. Yeah. Our government, the corporations.
Yeah.
And when you first start to realize what's going on, it was like somebody punched me in the stomach. And then I, walked around and said, you have a responsibility now, because it's come across your awareness. So I try to help people understand the lies that have been perpetrated on us in a way that they can accept in like little doses, right? Because
one of the things that bothers me, because I've known about this stuff forever, right? I don't know how, but it's like it can be very disempowering, because you feel like, how can I, as an individual, do anything about all that, right? Because they got all the money. They got all the power, they got all the media, and all that kind of stuff, right?
And that's how most people look. That's the, everybody looks at it that, what can I do? I'm just one person. But here's the thing. It's about energy, right? It's about getting right with yourself. It all starts with you.
So if I were to say, talk us through this, how do we deal with that? How do we feel with that sense of disempowerment? That's what you would say. You have to get right with yourself.
You have to get right with yourself. It starts with you, and if you start to get right with yourself, then that energy gets out there. That energy goes out into the universe and starts vibrating out there in the universe. And the more people that get right with themselves, the more of that energy is going to get out there. And we're getting help too right now.
Are we?
Yeah, we are getting help. We've
had. It's okay. We know.
We're getting help. There's people. There's lots of beings out there, light beings that are helping us, and that was a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about. We were at the same movie a few weeks ago, so we know.
Yeah.
But okay, light beings, right?
Yeah.
Aren't there bad aliens too? Are there good aliens and bad aliens?
Well, there's a difference between an alien and an extraterrestrial, right?
Right. So, I'm just using that word loosely.
Okay.
And probably wrongly. But
okay. Well, I probably do most of the time myself. So, yeah, they're beings. They're other planetary beings, or, and you're saying, there's beings out there, but right now, there's a lot of light being poured onto this planet.
Yeah.
Because, and it's over. The ones it's over. The good guys have already won.
Yeah.
But the bad guys are not going to go out without a fight. And I'm just using, we're the white hats. They're the bad guys. So they're not going to go out without a fight. And so they're pulling all the stops. They're trying to keep us in fear and keep us enslaved.
And that's with the Paris.
Oh my gosh!
Attacks.
Yes.
Well, I know people probably died there, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, there's always casualties.
But
perhaps
there's a lot of information on the internet that it was false flag stuff. Same with California, right?
That's like, oh my! And there's people out there that follow that. The false that have been following it, and they won't even follow. They don't even give it the time of day anymore because they know what it is. It's actually laughable when you start to see. I have a friend who said, Aaron Romano said to me, if you cannot see the lie, you will never see the truth. And it really resonated with me, and I went, okay, you have to see the lies that are out there that they're pulling on us before you can ever, take stock and say, this isn't right, and it's not going to happen anymore. You have to get fighting mad, kind of, before you can turn around. You have to get past that stage of, what can I do about it? I'm just one little person, right? You have to get to that point. I mean, and there's so many things in this world that could get you there and get you on the right path. But.
So do you think? I mean, because what I see is going on, and I know people even family members in my family anyway. You bring this stuff up. Oh, the vaccines are a big. Whatever,
oh yeah, but that's
right? And they don't. Oh no, that's not true. Or that. Oh yeah, or that San Bernardino was a false flag. Oh no.
It really happened.
Right.
Yeah,
it happened, but it's not the way they're trying to create a antipathy between Muslims and.
Oh yeah. Well, they're creating this.
But I mean, in general, people don't seem to be buying it. But what do you think is going to happen? They're trying to create a war. It seems
that's
now,
what
right?
That's what they're doing. But and they're using ISIS. But do you know what
Yeah, I know. It's a CIA database. That's all.
It is. Right? It's my son came up and said, "Do you know what it stands for, Mommy?" Israel Secret Intelligence Service.
Yeah, he could.
And so
he could make up anything for what that means, right?
Right.
Right.
So, but that's what he's getting on the internet.
It's the first
That's
time
what
I heard that one, but
that's what he's and
well,
you
they
know,
can't even
the
think.
young-
They can't even agree what to call it. ISIL, ISIS,
right.
Islamic State,
Daesh,
like
whatever they.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's to keep us in confusion and you know, and
Yeah.
unempowered.
Well, so what's going to happen? Who's going to? You said the good guys are going to win. How do we know that?
Okay.
And then it's not good enough for us to just accept that, rest on our laurels, and say we already won, right? The wars.
We can't rest on our laurels. We each are responsible to, do what we have to do to raise the vibration of this planet. That's what needs to happen, because there's people out there that. And it unfortunately is about 95% of them that are still asleep, that think that, we're still in third dimension. We're still, hoping for the good old days. I wish we could get back to normal. But that world is gone. Like, it's gone. We're not in that world anymore. It's gone. And we're right now in, moving kind of that third dimension, all those boundaries that we lived by, all those constraints, all that conditioned, limited thinking that we grew up with, they're all gone now. Mm-hmm. But people just don't realize that it's gone, mm-hmm. and that they can be as unique and as empowered and different as they want to be and are entitled to be. I believe, and this is what I tell the guys, working with in prison, that we all chose to be here at this time, on this planet, at this time in history, which is the most critical time in the history of mankind. We all chose to be here, and we all have gifts, and we all need to find those gifts, because we're here to help move this planet forward. So, and you can't do that if you don't even know who you are, mm-hmm. or you think what's happening in your outside environment is who you are. Like, you have the nice house and the nice car, and you buy the designer clothes, and that keeps you happy for a while, but it's short-lived. It's not what's sustaining, right? And people are now starting to wake up to that and say, yeah, there's got to be something more. There must be a purpose here for our lives, right? And so we're moving through we're out of third dimension. We're moving through fourth dimension, which is all about the birthing. It's a transition period. Birthing's messy, We're moving through that chaos, the stuff that we're seeing out there. It's not nice, but we have to go through it. And we're moving into fifth dimension, and there'll be. And not, people have a choice. There'll be some people that want to stay in third dimension, that want to stay, and they will live. They will continue to have wars and continue to be in that money system, in that greed and corruption and discrimination and domination and all of that.
And suckered into all those media lies and everything.
And then there's others who are willing to. Move forward, even though we don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Even though that's why we're at a point where it's not about our brain anymore. It's our intellect got us, our brain got us to this point in technology, and that's all a great thing, but that's not what's going to move us into the fifth dimension. It's all about our heart, and we have to feel our way forward, and we can only do that through our hearts. And the answer is so simple, but again, because we've been conditioned, the answer is love. That's what the answer is. It's love. It's like, if everybody operated in love, then we would have peace and harmony. But we've even been conditioned to think the word love is in terms of romantic love or woo-woo, it's a wishy-washy, it's love is the answer. It is the answer. And I know it sounds so cliche-ish, but it is. That's the simple bottom line. And that's the only way we're going to move into fifth dimension is through our hearts.
Okay.
Right.
And that's something you can teach people how to do. Now, are you doing anything? Like any seminars or any presentations or anything? No, I'm thinking about the last one I did. I did
a web summit in 2013, and I had 12 speakers from all over the world, and I hosted for 2 weeks. I hosted, talks every day, and that took a lot out of me. I basically collapsed on the couch on the day after, and in the fetal position. I mean, and you have to be on, and so I haven't attempted to do anything, but I'm now at the point where I want to put a group of people together, good people that I think that are worth listening to, and worth people paying attention to, and do some kind of conference or retreat or something. I haven't worked the details out yet, but yeah, I'm going to do.
All right.
I'm for sure.
So maybe there's somebody out there that's really resonating with what you're saying right now, right? And there's your website on the screen.
Absolutely.
Can they?
Absolutely.
Should they check out your website? Can they get in touch with you there? Calm Today?
Yes, they can. Yep, they absolutely can, and it's all about we're all in this together, right? And it's about co-creating the new world. It's not about leadership anymore. It's about collaborating, and we all have to work together. And
I always think too, it's up to us now, and whatever that means, right? We can't say, the new Liberal government is going to take care of it for us. Or, or somebody's going to take care of it for us. It's really up to us to do it. We can't.
Well, we can't say the government's, because that's part of the problem. I mean, it's the old paradigm.
Yeah.
We've moved out of that paradigm of, what's in it for me, that kind of a paradigm. Like, why should I do it? What's in it for me? Into a new paradigm of what can I contribute to this new world that's emerging?
Yeah.
And it's a different mindset, and it takes a different set of skills to do that. And it takes a lot of faith, because we don't know how it's going to happen and how it's going to all evolve. But if we're all in it together, and we'll co-create something amazing for this planet. Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Anyway, I just want to. Is there anything else you want to leave us with today?
No, I guess it's that time of the thing, that time of the season, where it's about family and, about warmth and family. And I just, like to say, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with you. And that's what I'd like to leave with today.
Well, that's awesome.
So,
all right. Well, listen, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll just hold the book up again. There it is. So I'm presuming people can get that on your website, calmtoday.com. They can order the book, or they can get in touch with you and maybe help you co-create the next great web seminar or something else.
Well, we're all in it together, that's for sure.
All right. Yeah. Okay, Deb. Deborah Hall, calmtoday.com. Thanks for doing this. We're going to take a little break here on the show, and you can stick around and hang out, have some more coffee.
Love to. Thanks, Hugh.
And we're going to come back in a few minutes with our next guest, maybe a little bit more magic. Before we get to Delanova and the Revelatorium, that should be good too. We'll be right back. ThatChannel.com.